What book is an immediate red flag for you when someone says it's their favorite? Dianetics. The Turner Diaries had to read it for a class 1 took in college on cults and fringe millennial apocalyptic groups. Great class but terrifying in a lot of ways. I think everyone here should have to post their favorite book so they can be judged by their peers. Mein Kampf. My brain processed the title as green flag. The comments were wild until I looked back at the title, loudly crying. For me, it's any self-help book that frames manipulating others as understanding others and being charismatic. There are so many enlightened narcissists running around not realize it is morally reprehensible. No, Josh, you're not an empath. Principles of Biochemistry by Leninger. No sane person actually loves that book. The Secret. A guide to semaphore code. It's both a red and a white flag. 50 Shades of Grey. Worst books ever written. Any of those vapid motivational books that flood the market. Bonus points if it's written by some ex-military dude and is just 200 pages of if you don't get up at 4 a.m. every day. Punch yourself in the face until you bleed. Run 10 miles with a tire on your back. Drink 10 raw eggs for breakfast. Hustle and get all the ladies. You are a piece of trash and you deserve a shit life. How is that motivational? TF outta here. Please. Bye. Bye. Clifford the Big Red Dog. If a woman approached me male saying she can read that book and comprehend it, I immediately know that she's way smarter than me. Eat, Pray, Love. Anything by Nicholas fucking Sparks. That man is a patronizing hack. Anything by Colleen Hoover, face vomiting. 50 Shades. I just know they're more Ann Summers than really good fun. Any of the 50 Shades books. Not because of the BDSM but because it's such a poorly written series. LMAO, and the relationship is a terribly abusive, neither safe nor sane representation of kink. Biagio Largo said Mein Kampf, and you know what? It's okay for history purposes. But if you say it's your favorite, forget about me hanging around. For real. I know the history already. Not my favorite thing, but I feel humans should never forget how we lost our humanity. One of the darkest times in our history. On the Road Girl, Wash Your Face. Insert anything Ayn Rand wrote. We get it. You are an edgelord neckbeard who doesn't think soap is part of the free market. The Art of Seduction by Robert Greene. Same dude who wrote 48 Laws of Power. If someone said that book was their favorite, I'd be greatly unsettled. The Celestine Prophecy. A friend was so excited for me to read it. Considered it life-changing. I suffered through pages of new agey nonsense and lost a friend. If someone says the Bible is their favorite book, they haven't read the entire Bible and don't read other books either. My friend was excited about The Great Gatsby movie because apparently it was her favorite book. She said it was such a great romance novel. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I have had it recommended by 6 different bosses and it is basically a cross of Neolib Wet Dream and How to Guide on Scamming People. Lol, so many Mein Kampf answers. Couldn't have thought of something more obvious? The prince makes me wary. Atlas Shrugged. Facebook. 48 Laws of Power. Especially if they have multiple pages highlighted. Lol. Any of those self-help motivational type books. If you were able to get through The Secret without being paid, I think less of you. Just do. If you think Girl Wash Your Face counts as literature, we cannot be pals. And don't get me started on the 7 Habits. Anything from the Left Behind Rapture series. The Doctrine of Fascism by Benito Mussolini and Giovanni Gentile. Mein Kampf, 120 Days of Sodom, Art of the Deal. Eat, Pray, Love. I Hope They Serve Beer in Hell. Art of War. Nothing wrong with liking the book, but if it's your favorite, I have some serious concerns. Scarlet, the sequel to Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind by Alexandra Ripley. There was no way anyone could have made a sequel to the original GWTW story and perfectly capture the world and characters Margaret Mitchell created, and this book proves that. The 48 Laws of Power, not to mention people who claim this is their favorite book. Pretty much anyone I've met who has read this has seemed pretentious and egotistical. I guess they feel like they know better than others because they read a self-help book. I have nothing against reading Nietzsche, especially if you like philosophy. But if Nietzsche is your favorite philosopher, I get nervous. And if you cite a Nietzsche book as your favorite book, I'm sorry to say, but you are likely an insufferable person and way too invested in the will to power. The people who I have met who really like Nietzsche are also the kind of people who advocate negging as a dating strategy. I'm sure there are people out there who love Nietzsche that I would very much like to be friends with, but it hasn't been my experience in the past. Catcher in the Rye or The Great Gatsby. I like both books. Never once have I had a decent conversation with anyone who said that these are their favorite books though. Mein Kampf, Art of the Deal, Book of Mormon. Book of Mormon. Anything by Ayn Rand. Because there's a 95% chance they didn't read it. And if they did, they're an insufferable asshole. Emma, go ahead and say the Bible just so you peck Nectar 96 can come back and call me ignorant LMAO. I scrolled several pages and still don't see the Da Vinci Code. Did people erase this book from their memories? Mao's Red Book. 48 Laws of Power. American Psycho. As someone that loves the movie, I kind of can't stand to try and engage with people who say it's their favorite book. If I Did It by O.J. Simpson. Touched the Jerry Sandusky story. He really wrote a book by this title. I am not making this up. I dated several guys in my 20s who said Charles Bukowski was their favorite author. Eventually leaned, I need to stay far away from guys like that. Mao's quotations. Anything written by Nick Sparks. What an asshat. The Bible. Jordan Peterson, or any book written by a pickup artist. Monosphere. The number of duplicates is impressive. Search before you post a book. Any title from V.C. Andrews. Either you've never matured past being a 13-year-old girl, or you're way too comfortable with incest. Lolita. Any religious text. It's fine to be religious, I don't believe, but whatever. You do you, but if you can genuinely sit down and say that the text that your religion follows is your favorite book, you probably have a couple screws loose. Art of the Deal. Chicken Soup for Blank Soul. The people saying Lolita really missed the point of Lolita. Twilight. IDK about a red flag. But if someone says The Four Agreements is their favorite book, it definitely affects my opinion of them. Is it bad? No. But honestly, I feel like all of the people I've heard cite that as their favorite read aren't the brightest and usually put on a fake enlightened act for others. Cough cough, Aaron Rodgers. Honestly, you could insert most self-help books into that take. But that book is the most prevalent I've seen people quote as their fav. Mein Kampf. Because I can't imagine anyone actually enjoying it and rereading it for pleasure. It's not your favorite book for literary reasons. It's your favorite because you're either a Nazi fuck you roughly with a rough stick or a contrarian sympathizing with Nazi rhetoric. You get the smooth stick, but administered roughly. 50 Shades of Grey. Anything written by Colleen Hoover.